slow shit. Ain't no half stepping over here, man. Whole steps on, yo.
Yeah. Hey, some of my favorite
Woo!
shit in there is
Oh, oh. Woo!
the
That one
vocals
hit.
before and
Sample, man.
after,
The
bro.
sample, man.
The what?
The vocals like he said no 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 no. That shit was
Oh
fire.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like
That
my
lovey dovey shit. No, 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 no. Not
no
me,
no no no.
not me. Yeah.
Right.
And that
I
shit was
like
just
that. See,
off
I
the
like that.
cuff.
He did that a lot in through the album. Like he was talking to the
Yeah.
samples, and I enjoyed that, man. I like how you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. The sample is talking to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny.
I'm
I done
saying
got in
that
trouble from
production.
that line too. Off the cuff. Just that lovey dovey shit. No, 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 no. Not
No,
me.
no,
Yeah.
no, no.
I done heard about that.
So you got trouble for it? Hold on. You got a story?
No, no, no. Ain't no story. I done heard about it though.
I don't know. I feel like Vacation might have got you in trouble though, man.
Bruh.
You might have
No,
to. If you got a story on that, you might have to speak on that one because you was like, yeah, they talking about me. Don't you put me in the chorus.
I definitely. I just got a text. That's funny as hell.
He said, cut.
That's funny as hell. I just put my phone on silent. No, there's no story. I mean, look, my partner is definitely accepting of the art. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no story on that. Ain't no story. It's just, but that's a real. I mean, of course, that's a real situation, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely, women in the past, like, oh, is you talking about me? Da 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 da. Like that's definitely happened multiple times in the past. You know what I'm saying? But nah, this was just, you know, I was trying to, and that's the wave I've been on, you know, recently. I just want to capture like raw emotions, you know what I'm saying? Pieces, you know what I'm saying? Pieces of my story, pieces of our story, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, of course, everything in that song is real as hell, but it's pieces, it's so many different pieces, you know, tied together just to, you know, create an art piece, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but Vacation, I think, yeah, that's maybe the next one we need to play because that song right there, that's probably my favorite. I think that's the most classic, iconic sounding one on there. You know what I'm saying? Because of course the samples already set that mood. They already timeless. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I mean, how we connected on there with the sample in the background, that the story with the dope ass hook. Sometimes I forget the dope ass hook is even there. I just be tuning into the story. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my shit, man.
It's funny about that song too is that when we first got the album like tracked out, Vacation was like towards the end of the album. And I was like, nah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite, Sonny. We got to pull that closer. And the one that starts the album, we both agreed that's got to kick the album off. But that Vacation has to come in right away because that was such a banger.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is. It definitely is. Nah, and that's actually early on. That's probably one of those creative things we had to work out. You know what I'm saying? Like just as an inside, like looking the process, like where you had like a more extended intro. I'm sorry, outro to the intro on the instrumental you have planned out. And I had actually on that beat, I had actually came in for the that outro section when I start rapping on. This is on the intro right before Vacation come on. That part of the intro at the very end, I had looped it up for like 8 bars. It was only like 1 or 2 bars before that, but I had looped it up to spit them bars at the end, and they cut it off. You know what I'm saying? To have you know, it come in like stand up with Vacation. You know what I'm saying? Then Vacation just rocked out.
And I had to get out of myself for a second, and he'll do it. I got in my pride for a second because he took, you know, I'm a producer, but I still got that pride of an MC. So when I sent him the beat, he like chopped up the beat and put it in a different way. And I was like, man, you touching my art, brother? I that's what I was thinking inside. And I was like, man, I'm not sure how, you know, you got to be, you know, you can't just be like, nah, don't do that. You know, I want to try to keep the communication going. So I was like, but then I had to pull back and I was like, he got something for it. He got an idea and I let it ride. And we were going to originally like lengthen out the outro, but I was like, nah, I feel what he's doing. And I like how he transitioned. So I let it go. And he was right. It worked out well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think
that's behind the scenes, actually.
Yeah, no, that's some of the most interesting stuff when you got, you know, artists, and we talk about this sometimes is with our collective that, you know, all artists have like that ego, and it's nothing wrong with that. That's just because, you know, we creative and we in tune with who we are creatively and what we want to do and the visions that we have creatively. So it's just that just it speaks more to how amazing it is that y'all can come together and find that middle. You know what I mean, and deliver the product. I don't know about y'all. I'm down in here vacation now. We done talked about it a little bit.
Hey, real
But
quick, let me tell everybody tuned in. If you tuned in, make sure you share the stream. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you on your Twitter, you're fleeted. I don't know what you on. Yeah, story it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it out there.
And throw us a follow too. Go ahead, throw that vacation key.
Gotcha.
Stop playing to make a Twitch account. You know, we're gonna be on here for a while. Go ahead.
Yeah, they go that nigga Sunny right there. That's what nigga. Me? Well, I got back home, bro. Yeah, nigga, what up? She bad, bro. This nigga always capping. Let me tell you, bro. Nigga, what? Yeah. I knew this bad thing, feeling for that ass. Don't forget it when you had things. What she told me right before I froze, I left her gas bang. Now she wantin' more, dick ain't free, and yes, I'm taxing. Yeah. Know your worth, but still prove it while you roam the earth. Will she do it for Curtis is what I'm asking. This is really passion of Christ, or just the passing. She learned every line that I crossed. I wasn't masking. I took every loss like a boss, but what's the cost?
What's the cost?
She won't treat me like villain, I wasn't laughing. Where a young nigga feel peace just when he rapping. And when it come to rocking the mic, she wasn't lacking. Hold up, but that's too much information. Leave the phones at home, we on vacation. Yeah, can't share too much information. Leave the phones at home, we on vacation. Yeah, but that's too much information. Song is what I'm thinking. Yeah, can't share too much information. She left her phone at home like this vacation. She told me chill out, get too far ahead of myself, I got my will out. Another nigga tried to engage, might take the kill route. My focus mine like a grenade, might take the pin out. Yeah. And write something with words that she prefers. Heavy touch, we tipping the temperatures. I'm flipping words, I guess it just occurs. I'm capping just the man, just rapping, spin many words. I find it funny how niggas assuming just because they went out walking, they down with the movement. Sonny, don't do too much talking, unless I keep recording. Cause that's how I keep my mind up the lesser importance. Thinking about the thousands I'm traveling home to once this touring is done. She text me, babe, I warned you. I told her, fret not, let's roll another L. 30 nights to go, my niggas hoping I fail. What? But that's too much information. Leave the phones at home, we on vacation. Yeah, can't share too much information. Leave the phones at home, we on vacation. Yeah, but that's too much information. So when it's on, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, can't share too much
information. Phone at home, it's on vacation.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
I can see. I see the video. I can see your face in the video with this song. I can see you spitting this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta say thank you for Solomon for that vibe right there. That's gonna be a song.
That's why
I'm gonna look back and smile like 10 years from now, bro. Like, that's a special one right there, dog.
That's a killer one.
That's what I'm about to ask too, man. Solomon, since you are a guest, but what was like the vibe and inspiration behind, you know what I'm saying, producing that shit, bro, and coming together with that? I want the same question for you too, Sonny, but
yeah.
What's funny is on this album, the production, most of the beats I already had. And with Sonny, I slid him the Fundy one first, and I found his vibe. Because I've heard what he was doing outside of, my production, but I wanted to hear what he did on my production to know how to move forward. So once I heard that, I was like, okay. And I heard on what his content was on other stuff. So he has kind of that revolutionary, but still a little hood. So I was like, I want to dig into that, but I want to bring me into that. And I'm an older cat. I was born in the 70s, kid in the 80s, and grew up in the 90s. So to me, the blaxploitation 70s soul sound came really heavy with this project. And that's why I started digging into that with the Vacation one. And all the beats I already had made except for Vacation. That was the only one I made fresh on the spot. And when I got that one right off, I was like, I actually was going to give it to one of my other guys, but I'd been working on this with him, and I was like, let me see what he can do with that.
Thank God.
And when he got it, I was like, yeah, that's it. He owned that. Okay. And we're going to keep running and running.
Yeah. So let me pick up on that one. See, I don't even know. There's so much for that song. You know what I'm saying? Not only like that song by itself, but also like where it fits in the narrative. You know, like because the narrative I got like put in mind, like for the whole project is like on some whole other shit. Like, and I kind of talked about it before, like just in how I promoted the project. But for that song, like that voice in the background, like I don't think. Let me actually say this about the song real quick, and maybe it'll just help explain about the song. Like that voice that's playing in the background, it's two different people, like on the middle hook and that last hook. You know what I'm saying? It's actually two different people. In the middle hook, it is a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, don't speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't put me in your music. Why you speaking about me? Da 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 da. And at the end of the second verse, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like the second verse. I'm kind of like speaking about that relationship or just about love in general. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of like ended off saying, you know what I'm saying? I forget exactly what I say, but you know, I'm talking about like I'm on tour doing music. You know what I'm saying? Don't be worried about what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But then it comes on in the background. It's kind of like my temptations. You know what I'm saying? The voice isn't the woman. The voice is actually like the temptation. And the temptation actually in this instance has come from the homies. And the homies is saying like, oh, who we got coming over? Like coming over to the studio or coming over to wherever the function is. Oh, Jessica. Oh, yeah, he ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I'm saying at the end of the second verse. I'm saying like only this much longer on the tour, then I'm headed home to these stars. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but that's yeah. So it's a lot of things going on in that song. You know.
Just because you walk in doesn't mean you down with the movement. I love that line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my shit too.
That's the one. When I heard that, I was like, yeah, we got a banger.
Yes, that's my shit
Oh,
too.
yeah.
You all right with this is a song, a perfect example of this, what I'm getting ready to say. But I feel like all these songs on this project was so content heavy. They you could go so many different directions because you had the narrative, you know what I mean, the main narrative, but you was able to kind of stuff all these other ideas throughout, and expand on these ideas throughout. Can you talk about some of those other ideas that was offshoot to the narrative or wasn't necessarily, you know what I mean, that main story that you was kind of thinking of when you was making
Yeah.
these songs?
Yeah, just to speak on it because it wasn't spoken on yet. Like the main story was like Hotline is like following like the protagonist. It's like it's me, but it's also not me. You know what I'm saying? Like the protagonist of the story. Like for me, like I think perspective is something I play with a lot. You know what I'm saying? Perspective is something I play with a lot in my art, all my art. But you know, it was from this one. It was from the perspective of a protagonist. You know what I'm saying? That had you know what I'm saying, a revolutionary, but definitely one that got his own faults. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, he's in a situation where I mean, the album, you know, open up. I just run through the narrative real quick. The album opened up. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like with a love story a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's a conflicted love story, but it's somewhat of a love story. You know what I'm saying? Like it opens up. If you hear like sometimes even the movie sample I chose. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she's asking him. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the issue? Why don't you talk to me? He's like, I'm busy. You know what I'm saying? And like even after Vacation, I think Vacation kind of ends on a similar type vibe, similar. Or yeah, so I think it kind of opens up there, but you know, eventually he gets in a situation where he kills Uncle Sam. And Uncle Sam is kind of like the police, you know what I'm saying? Like some like representative of the police or the system, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
he kills Uncle Sam by shooting him through the Bible. I think that's on the track Tide. And I mean, while he's on the run, he's actually betrayed by, you know, his love. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of comes out in some of the tracks and some of the movie clips as well. So I think there's those themes of love, you know what I'm saying, trust, also being a revolutionary, you know what I'm saying, not wanting to, you know, always live up to those expectations though, also is in there, I think. But I think it's also just like all the thoughts that, you know what I'm saying, I have and that, you know, I feel like is current, you know, my generation and our generation, you know what I'm saying? So I just
And
try to
I
pick up
think,
on some of them currents.
and just to kind of lean on that, like,
Yeah.
because I feel like I had a special view of the album than most because I
Right.
got to see it kind of organically grow into what it is now. And while those movie scenes kind of tie the narrative together, the album is just being a black man, to be honest. Like it really feels like that at the end of the day. Like any of our
I'm
life
with you
as black
100% on
men,
that's what
regardless.
that's what that was my big takeaway. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want
No,
to
you
jump
good.
in on that. Yeah, my big takeaway was I just really it painted a whole complete picture. And Sonny mentioned with the flaws and everything of just the different struggles that black men go through from love, from from trusting other people and getting that betrayed and recovering from that. And I think there's a lot of good things he did with that. But go ahead.
Yeah, because things like stop sign terrorist. I don't care, I know we range from different on this call, but anybody from 21 to, in their 40s can run into what happened in stop sign terrorist. So that, it covers every aspect of being a black man, no matter how old you are or where you are in this world. The aspect of love, the aspect of chasing your dreams, the aspect of nightmares chasing you. I think he covered a lot of that, and I love that because the skits kind of got added towards the end after we started kind of crafting the album, and that added some of that narrative and that drama, and then we started like seeing that this actually can turn into something else on top of what we have here. So you do have the black man story, you have the black man love, you have the black man struggles, and that's what I really liked. And for me to be able to put a soundscape to that, I think that's where the magic really happened. Is his story, his insight, my sound, put that together, and we got unified in that.
Part of my inspiration on this too, I never even seen the movie. I can't even tell you what the name of it is, but it was a big one. But it's about a couple that got stopped by the police and they went on the run, and there was like a whole bunch of like, huh?
Queen and Slim.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I like and they they try to mix in some revolutionary elements in that movie, I believe. Like I said, I never seen it, but I was like, just from that I was like, and this is another important piece of how the album came together. Solomon's right. The Hotline name for it didn't come until we was 10, 11 tracks deep. You know what I'm saying? And the skits for it didn't really come together until we was like 10, 11 tracks deep. Like, so it really was just like an outpouring of just everything I was going through last year, everything I was experiencing last year. That the album is certainly that, you know what I'm saying? As a black man, everything I experienced. And then like the framing and molded around a certain narrative, it was a beautiful experience to be part of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like the narrative and like imagery and symbolism, like even after, the records was done, you know what I'm saying? Like it is something else. I like how you put that. It is something else.
Very organic.
Sure.
That was a big takeaway for me. The album grew and took a life on its own, and was just kind of like, we put this together, it built something. And I've even talked to people since it's been released that listen to it, and they got a whole different like vibe out of the album than what I had, than what Sunny had, and then what the next person has that listens to it. So that tells me we did something special there, because people take it, make it their own, and they feel something about it. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what music is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Muddy Waters thought one thing when he made it. We think another thing when we hear it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think that word classic is appropriate, because it has life in so many different lanes. You know what I mean? For so many different interpretations, it stands strong. No matter how you might apply your own interpretation to what the art is, because it came together so naturally and organically, like y'all said. It, they all can be true in a sense. So,
Yeah, I agree. And speaking on that, Stop Sign Terrorist, if we're going to play a song, I'd love to get that in there next. Because Stop Sign Terrorist was one of those ones that was originally called Hotline. And it got switched over to Stop Sign Terrorist at the very end. And that kind of started setting some of that narrative that you hear throughout the album, and that was really, I remember my kid was in a basketball. He was in basketball camp, and he sent me that. I'm pretty good at remembering this stuff because I'm deep into this whole thing I'm doing with all the music. So he'll send it to me and I'll be like, oh, I'm vibing. So I drop my kid off and I'm just driving around waiting for his thing to go off, bumping Hotline. And I'm like, oh, he went there. Because that beat was Yeah, Sonny don't probably know this, but that beat was originally a Reese T beat. But Reese T never got to it. So I was like, all right, Reese, you know the routine. You got 3 to 6 months to hold on to a beat and it's out. I
Thank
slid it
God.
over to him and Sonny tore it up.
That's always one that people, especially black men, reach out and say it's special. That track right there, because yeah, I mean it explains the vibe. Like it definitely is the one track that explains the tape the best, like the soul of the tape. But it also explains, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's kind of like that, like kind of like a revolutionary vision of how we wish the encounters went down. You know what I'm saying? What we wish we could do. You know what I'm saying? Or just like damn, like that's where my imagination hit when I reflect on the times that happened to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's happened to me plenty of times. You know, getting pulled over for nothing.
And that's so important to reflect that in the art. You know what I mean? Because I mean, the reality a lot of times it be shitty, but even when those situations happen, we all it's there's a reality of the events that take place, right? But then there's also that second reality of how we wish it was taking place, and if things was a little bit different, this is how it would go. You know what I mean? That if you didn't have that badge and that vest, this wouldn't be going down like that kind of thing, and we all understand that. So I think it's important to bring that to light.
Yeah, Key, let that rock if you can, bro.
Stop sign terrorists. Let's get into it.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, it's Sunny.
Coming strong with that little Western vibe too.
Yeah, let's get it. All right, we got a lot going on. Put me on. Yeah. Got something to say now. Yo, you heard it here first. Before you ever follow your dream, must conquer fear first. I talk nice to my baby girl, cause some tears hurt. Long nights spent isolated that made me feel worse. I ain't mean to kill him, but I meant to shoot. Niggas hurt, I shot the sheriff, hit me in the roof. The crackers call me terrorists, want me in the noose. Grandparents so embarrassed, threw him in the loop. Another cycle of a nigga with rifle. Uncle Sam ran down, shot him right through the Bible. Now they hunt a nigga down just for killing they idol. Nice and wild man hunt, at least I know where to find you. I can't give location, but hit the hotline. These cops ill as fuck, might shoot you for running stop sign. I'm out. Next week, I got you.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Man, that's
And,
cool.
hey, can we just run Todd back to back with that one real quick?
Yeah,
No, but did we already? Yeah, Todd. We ain't do that one yet. Yeah, Todd.
Yeah, we let it flow into Todd.
Girl, I'm sick and low. I think I've gone as far as I can go.
Solomon, you
I
crazy.
can show you everything I'm feeling inside. Paranoid like niggas walking up and parking the ride. I could not trust these niggas that don't talk with they eyes. I might cross the ocean, watch my stresses with tide. Solo set the tone, I'm trying to plot the design. For my niggas on the line, quick to pick up a 9. I won't tell you chill, just to wait for the sign. First take they politics and flip the shit in your mind. My girl said this the bomb, I've been ticking to prime. Keep it bright, but I never like the light when it's lime. We don't fuck with elves, no, that's not what we on. Only blue suede shoes I seen was Chris in my prime. And my wrist never glitz, but they sense that I'm on. This and Pip, just a twist, hit the fifth and we gone. Fuck a bitch who gossip, I get the gist on my own. And this track is for the build to keep refusing the stone. Used to dribble grams, now we splitting the zone. Speaking codes, fat the rallies, keep unzipping your phone. Once we take the castle, then we tipping the throne. I got dreams of revolution, don't you ask me what's wrong. Will you ride with me? That's the ask in the song. Put your fears in this blunt with the freedom ain't long. Pass it back to PS, but I regress. We dreamed in the Sunny from the Ville, I'm claiming ES. Why they think we dummy? Ain't it funny how they see us? Running mile, bitches more efficient than the Prius. Niggas giving fake love, you can keep that, yeah, I peep that. Niggas rather have they fucking feet back than to put it on the line. I peep, but I got good connection. Niggas think they out they mind, but they really flexing. I've been crazy since line 1, that's my secret blessing. At times when I'm writing rhymes, I grip the Smith and Wesson.
Where did we go wrong? Was it you or I?
Yeah, so much to say. So much to say.
Woo!
I think, man, for me, just the idea of somebody on the run in our generation, you know what I'm saying, for actually doing something righteous like that, what that would inspire, what kind of consciousness change that would inspire, because it is the type of events, it is the type of tragic events sometimes and violent events that awaken our consciousness, that move us a step further. You know what I'm saying? So I think this was some insight into that, and the idea of, that person calling in to the same hotline Tupac is on, spitting what he talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to put us there. I just wanted to put people there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's potential. That's what it is. It's potential at the end of the day.
Them connections you made with the past was so tight, and was so it wasn't forced at all. And I think like, if the stop sign pushed the narrative forward a lot, and it was real important for the narrative, I think that track we just played, that it
Tied.
had tied, yeah, it was real representative of the whole project. It had something, what I'm saying, it hit almost every little point you had,
Mm.
all the concepts that you was kind of diving into through the project. What's that line? That's my shit on there. Revolution on my mind. Don't ask me what's wrong. That shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Don't you,
that's
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
lot.
Don't
It's a
you ask
lot.
me what's wrong?
Yeah, it's a lot in there. It's a lot in there, and that goes back to that that steely revolutionary persona, where you got these ideas, you have this pride for one, right, and you have
Mm-hmm.
these utopian visions of different kind of organizations for our people and for society at large, and you got to kind of every day kind of for lack of a better way of putting this, kind of push those down to function, you know what I mean, in our society. So it's a constant stress, a constant pressure, a constant in the back of your mind. You know what you want, but you can't get there. You can't just execute and do that. Revolution on
But
my mind. Don't ask me what's wrong. Go ahead.
one of the lines I like on there a lot, I don't know if anybody mentioned this, so I got to mention it. It's one of my favorite on Tide. It's just the one that kind of has the name of the title in there. I might cross the ocean, wash my stresses with Tide. And it's like a simple, like, it's like the simplest double entendre, because Tide is like a laundry detergent. And of course, like, I might cross the ocean, wash my stresses with Tide. I might wash my stresses in the ocean, like a baptism, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was killer. That was killer.
Yeah.
Hey, Solomon, I got a question. So to me, with your production style on this project, it seems like you led more with the sample, and it's not too bass heavy, which I like, or drums heavy, which I like. It seems like you used a lot of the original drums within the sample. Is that true? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, too, and it's a good ear that you caught that. So my style is, and that's kind of my sound versus what you may hear a lot of people in my lane do, is that I lead with the sample, and then the drums and everything else is more of an afterthought. So I start with the sample, I chop there, and then I build on top of that. So there's drums in everything you hear in there, but you won't know them because I mimic the drums inside the sample and tweak them. And I also try to find drums that sound similar to what's in there, or sometimes I'll use filters to form them to sound like that. So it almost sounds like, I'll even throw them off a little. I'll tweak it so it sounds a little off in the under there, so it rides with it. Because the beauty, any producer that works on samples from back in the day, they were amazing musicians, but they couldn't hold time with shit. So when you try to chop some of that stuff up and try to keep the time, it doesn't hold. So sometimes throwing it off becomes almost its own rhythm. And that's where you get lost, I think, in some of the music that's more prominent now, is that everybody's trying to have it so perfect that it loses soul and it almost sounds robotic. So my thought is to kind of go back to where it's just like, just play some music and have somebody drop on it. So yeah, with this one, that one had real little drums under it, very little. And the first song I did for him, we talked about before, was Fundy. That my guy OJ Beats, who we go back 20 plus years making beats out of the South Side. A couple of years ago, he just sent me loops. Like, he'll do that. He'll just send me loops and be like, man, go ahead and chop this. Sometimes I'll send it back to him and he'll chop what I did his own way and add drums. So he sent me those. I put those together. That was one of the ones I did and had it sitting there. So when I sent that to him and Sunny killed it, I was like, that's going to be our lane.
Yeah.
I'm going to run him with songs that have very little heavy on drums and more on content and feeling. So the emotional you get in the music, and then he brings the emotion in his lyrics. And then, yeah, it's that mix. And I also think, not to drone on, but I'm just going to throw this in there real quick. I feel like the difference in generation between me and Sunny added a thickness in the album that you're not going to really hear, because I look at the world different than Sunny does. We come from different eras, and we both look at it as black men, but just black men from different eras. And so when we walked into this album, we started communicating, started, feeding off of each other. It built something there. And, that soul that, Cat born in the 70s, Cat in the new generation put it together. Hotline.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's literally exactly what I was about to ask, because hearing you mention your last brother you go back 20 plus years with. I heard you mention Reese, of course, and Twig, you know what I'm saying? I know both of Reese and Twig, thankfully, real OGs, but like it's a blessing for real, and it's a privilege to hear people, especially like you, Solomon, but people who have been in the game for so long, who have learned so much knowledge, who have gained so much knowledge, who have made so much dope shit, and is now sharing it with us, you know what I'm saying? And now willing to work with us like that. Like, it feels good, it feels definitely reassuring and everything, you know what I'm saying?
For sure. And that's one of the things. Before we got live with this, I was talking, I really love y'all movement. And Sunny knows, and I'm gonna put it out there. I've been trying to knock on the door to get that Solomon Grunge and Push Soul album out there, so he knows I'm working on that.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'll say personally, I like what I'm hearing when you say, first of all, leading with the sample. Me personally, we talk. I'm a newer artist, right? So I'm kind of still developing my sound, and I understand that. And I'm trying to have patience with that, even though I think I'm still raw. I think I have places I can go. You know what I'm saying? But I'm big on rapping on the melody as opposed to the beat necessarily. That's what I'm hearing when I'm rapping. And so getting on and off the beat and kind of weaving through it, I think that adds that level of soul to it. So I'll be interested in, hear some of these beats, because look.
So, I tell you, that's the beauty of this era right now. When I came up, it was one producer kind of locked in with one MC, but now the producer is an artist. So the producer does, you look at my catalog right now. I got multiple projects with multiple MCs. And that's the beauty, is when I work with those different MCs, like I work with Sunny, it's a whole nother sound than when I work with Twick or Reese or Automatic Champion. And the same thing, one of y'all work with another producer, work with me. They're two completely different albums.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Indiana feel, you know what I'm saying, on them soul vibes. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say this real quick. My new favorite bar on the album, just because Mari's rolling up like that, my back would hit different. I roll up without scissor.
I remember y'all niggas was getting on me about that when I came out there, bro.
Of course, hit different is Scissors hit single, you know what I'm saying? Right. Of course, another bar.
Hey, Sunny, but that's the other thing about this project. And you got a whole lot of genius bars where niggas don't really catch it. You know what I mean? Where you got to really look at it and be like, damn, he went 2 or 3 ways with that one.
Yeah,
so,
right.
They're gonna catch it as we drop videos throughout the year. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out more and more. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a slow burn album, especially dropping an album like this at this stage of my career. You know what I'm saying? This is an album I could have dropped 2 years from now, and it probably would have got more of the buzz it should have got. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like in the lineup of music I got to drop. I still got music from 2 years ago. I still got to drop. So dropping this at this time, you know what I'm saying? And just over these beats too, I think lyrically I had to come different than I come on other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And content wise, I came different. So yeah, I think there's a lot of bars on here niggas ain't get yet. For sure.
That nationwide bar get me every time, bro. Every time I feel like that shit.
Which one?
It's like something like niggas know where I'm at, and it's some nationwide. I can't remember, but every time it hit, I'll be like, man, this nigga, he kind of different with a pen. It's sort of
Right.
because it brings in the nationwide motherfucking jingle or whatever. Nationwide is on your side, whatever. Something like yeah.
See,
I had visited. I
I got to
ain't seen
hear
these
that one.
niggas. I ain't seen these niggas in hella long. I had visited. I'm like, all right, time to roll up. Where the scissors at? This nigga Sunny Ture, bro. Scissors, bro. What you talking about? You don't even smoke weed anymore, bro. Like,
Oh man.
Get your hands
Yeah.
dirty, dog.
Nah, it's real. I told you that, bro. They was getting on my ass when I was in Jamaica too, nigga. I was breaking up the weed, bro. Looked at me crazy like this. He like, that's how you break up weed, nigga. Like this, nigga. You gotta break up all of it. I'm like, hey, show me how it's done, though. G. Show me how it's done.
Yes,
Double entendre, baby, I jug harder. I think that's my favorite rhyme.
Hey, what's the line before that? I said,
Yeah, because love flows like good water or some shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. That shit. I was
Double,
like,
yeah, love flows like good water, double entendre, baby, I jug harder. Come on,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
I let you. That's in the intro. I'll let you know what's coming in the intro.
yeah. We already know what type of time you was on.
Hey, I say, you know, if we still got tracks to play, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's up?
I say if there's two to play, the last track I made for that album was Henny. You know what I'm saying? And I remember for that track, Solomon hit me up. I think we were still searching for ideas. He was hitting me up. He was like, you know, try to make a track that, you know, maybe speaks more to the political moment we're in just a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I was like, you know, you're right, because I need something to drive home that political point a little bit more on this album. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it could just be like Sunny Solo Pack and some of these other, you know, just kind of like exploration type tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like had a lot of those, but none like more explicitly political ones. So I thought Henny was definitely, you know what I'm saying, something that was in that vein. So yeah, run Henny for me real quick.
I
That
got
shit hard.
any route.
Yeah, Henny rap.
Hey, what up? Yeah, Sonny, man, I thought I'd call in again real quick. You say you want a verse, you know, speak to the moment, speak to the shit niggas going through. I thought I'd write something real quick, y'all. Hey. No more rain dancing in my snow again. Somebody get your Jehovah on the phone again. Cause it's brimstone in the hose again. They got us in the streets, tuned to home again. Back to Africa, my mind stays sovereign. If they got problem, you know, Sonny be solving. But then we got a common meeting with the coffin. It's not shows, nigga. If we in jam, the pull the blicky, yeah. If the cops pull out, I guess we really, yeah. Another sad story, just take the Henny route. That's how they serve niggas, the story's in and out. Where we came from, we got a ways to go, at least a page. Niggas stuck in the age of rage, capitalism and other things. It's time to make a change.
So I'm in California and I'm searching through the newspaper and I get like three lines about a new African being killed, you know what I'm saying, over just because of his race, you know what I'm saying, and then the whole riot comes out, and of course they bleed that out, and the situation with Virginia Beach happened to be out here at the time, but in terms of how I feel about it,
My bad.
No, you good. Hey, that cover right there, man. It's special. It's special. And it's significant also that the most political track is the one where the betrayal I talked about earlier in the narrative, it actually comes to completion and the cops break in and they shoot. You know what I'm saying? And kill me in the story. You know what I'm saying? And then Tupac comes on the radio saying he heard a story about a new African that got killed. You know what I'm saying? And then it goes into the last song on that project, R.I.P. And R.I.P. I would say is people's favorite track. Like that, I would say the most I've heard of other people's favorite track is typically R.I.P. Like that's a lot of people's favorite track on the album.
That's
you know so
I'll say on Henny Route, I always love how you started it off in one cadence, the verse, and then about like 6 to 8 bars, you jump into a whole nother. Gotta get the blicky up. That part always kills me right there. Because what we were talking about earlier on how the sample kind of dances, that beat is one of the, to me, technically one of the hardest ones I made on there because the way it drops. Like I had to cut the sample at the 3rd bar and then bring it back in the 3rd bar every time. So it's almost off beat. And I like how you weren't afraid to rap over the singing when they break into the middle of it. Because that's, I'll say, when I work with MCs, that's one of the hard parts. It doesn't happen as much as it used to, but a lot of MCs have a hard time rapping over somebody singing. You know what I'm saying? And you killed it. So I give you props on that.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
That's a skill.
Appreciate that.
I noticed that too. I also noticed like towards the end of it, it seemed like the sample and shit picked back up, which like flowed well with the skit and shit. Like it was like, that's the type of shit that makes it a production, that makes the album feel like a story or a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it's those little things, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, kudos to y'all. That shit was hard.
Hard, bro.
That should definitely coalesce. Going back to that rapping over the singing, it gave it that effect that you know, that because the singing was, you know, the song was like a hymn, like a gospel type joint, right? So it's so it contributes to what the content that he's actually giving you with the bars. And I see that as one of the better beats, but also one of the harder beats to actually rap well on. And he killed it with that. He killed it, and he almost gave like a vibe, like he was giving a speech. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it wasn't monotone at the same time. I don't even know how to explain it. But yeah, he killed that.
He got that gospel. Go ahead.
I'll just say that was one of the most enjoyable to write to. You know what I'm saying? For me, I think I really enjoyed it. The challenge, you know, and just really for me, the story, it was like a story. And that I think that's where, you know, it just came together like that. Yeah, the beat, I think how you described it. I mean, because technically, because I'm a producer myself, but technically I wasn't even really tuned into what you was doing. But now that you say it, I'm like, damn, this nigga did all that. I can hear it now. Like, yo, like, damn, like that's some shit that he did to that beat right there. You know what I'm saying? To get it to be like that, you know what I'm saying? Because man, it really is a special, like just a piece of music.
Thank you, man. And that one I always felt like it was jazz. I honestly did not think anybody would rap. When I got done making that beat, I set it as like, this is gonna be an interlude on somebody's album. So, you know, for it to turn into an actual song and one of the dope songs that stands out, that means the world to me, man.
Damn. Yeah. Henny route. That's my shit, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. Man, if we got time for one more, I think we should do the RIP joint, man. Before we get out of here. And maybe just let it ride through the solo outro too. You know what I'm saying?
All right, bet. So this is RIP featuring Twig G. Let's get it.
Oh yeah, this my shit. yeah, put myself on for real.
I'm sensing that you came for much more than what they selling in stores. Rolling up your blessings, then I take them on tour. I wasn't holding for confession, saying less like a chore. It's hard to open up when bitches making up more. Lies made me stay inside, baking up more. Rolling up my stresses, blow the smoke from my core. I had a dream way before, I've been quoting the chords. Ever since, they lost me like a page when it's tore. When they told me keep my passion where I came through the door. I can understand it now, but why they hate me before. Sometimes I bring it back to how I used to do drama. Shoot a fair one, afterwards the cool with your mama. Fuck the cops and I ain't got much to do with your honor. Living outside the system, but still cool with deposits. My niggas knew that I got it. Back in 10th grade, rapping till I put them all on, all expense paid. 99 shit like both them J and Pip stage, shit's changed.
You can't cop these, but you can request another line to relieve your stress. We let it rap. With some paper clips, we let it rap. Say every line you miss, yeah. Scratched out, I never heard before. We was trying to figure out how to open that door for real.
Serious but sober, but I'm cool and I'm high. Niggas claim real, but can they prove it that we making cappers move over like they do when I ride. I'm aligned with Osiris like I drew in the sky. I form a Junior Deacon, now making some moves without lies. So many grooves I could cry, so many rules, but I try. Duck the paparazzi, hit the fast route. They ask me where I'm at now. Used to keep it low-key, now we mass out. Used to keep it folky till we pass out. Now we just got ass out. On a long detour, but yeah, we back now. A nigga would be lying, say it's easy. But this journal needs me. Write numbers on the board just like a Ouija. Could I kill another just to be me? Let alone to free me? You got it, motherfucker, please believe me. Just a real nigga stuck in 3D. Running off the pages. We bout to plot the mission in the stages. I'm saying. Oh yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, saying. Talk to him, swear. I'm saying.
You can't cop these, but you can request another line to relieve your stress. We let it rap. With some paper clips, we let it rap. Heavy line you miss, yeah. Scratched out, I never heard before. We was trying to figure out how to open that door for real.
Solo G, we see you.
Yeah, I like that hook at the end right there. I like that.
So this is another clip from my old black exploitation film. Some boys, they got caught up in some, gang police shit, you know what I'm saying? I'll let it play a little bit. The beat is beautiful, of course. Solo G provided like the perfect send off for the album, and he chose the outro beat. You know what I'm saying? And that was the perfect send off for the album. The sample I put on there was from a blaxploitation film. 3 or 4 boys walking down. I forget the name of the film, unfortunately, but I got it written down somewhere. They're walking down the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? And the narrative of the film, some of the boys, they get in trouble with the law, but they're trying to help like something within their community. There's somebody like preying on their community, within their community, and they're trying to, put a stop to that. You know what I'm saying? And they're walking away from a funeral, and a woman had just spoken real well on somebody from the community that they know had got killed by this person that's preying on the community. You know what I'm saying? And they're talking like, when I die, I want her, the person that was preaching, to say something good like that about me. You know what I'm saying? And the person responded, "Oh, not with all that wine on your breath." And he's like, "Ain't gonna matter when I light up with all them flowers, stone dead." And so I think that I don't know the word to really describe the end of the album. You know what I'm saying? It's not a happy ending. You know what I'm saying? But it's not exactly like it's a sad one. It's not exactly a sad one. It's a real one. You know what I'm saying? It's
the ending. It's real life.
It's real life in the most vivid, the most raw. You know what I'm saying? Type of feel.
Man.
For real.
Shoot a fair one is still cool with your mama. That's to me, that's the line of the album right there. I love that one. When he sent that to me, I was like, yeah, that's it.
And that's real.
All right. I think it's a good spot to wrap. Definitely appreciate all the behind the scenes and all the process info given to us by Solomon G. Sunny got me saying that Solo G. He got me on that. He said that throughout the album.
I take it. I love it.
Yeah, and that Sunny.
That's my first confirmation I got from Solo. I never asked him straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this cool? Like, no, okay.
Took a life of its own.
And in line with how the album was created, is the organic coming about. So we fuck with that. But yeah, for everybody listening, everybody on the broadcast, Push Soul, we definitely gonna be coming at y'all with a lot more content. We got the pushsoul.com. You see all our music on the pushsoul.com/the blog, where we featuring a lot of up and coming artists and creatives doing all kind of different shit. And with the if you hear, go ahead, hit that follow button. We're gonna be back. You know what I mean? Just stay in tune with our social media to figure out when we're gonna go live next. Like I said, Sunny, we had talked about doing a Wednesday weekly thing, but you know, we still nailing some things down, but we'll be at y'all. We'll be at y'all.
That's coming. That's definitely coming. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be this week, but in one of these weeks coming up, you know, we're gonna have that weekly show started, me and Dante. So it's gonna be live.
Yeah.
And one more time, you know, one time, we appreciate you, Solomon, for coming in our space and blessing us with your presence, for sure.
Thank y'all, man, for
Yes,
having me.
sir.
It's a pleasure.
Solo.
Respect,
Hey,
man. Thank you all. And Sonny, man, it was a pleasure working with you on the project. Can't wait for the next
sir.
one. We gotta keep
Yes,
it
sir.
moving. And on top of that, I need to work with everybody else on this. We need to start doing albums. Come get at me. You know how to get in touch with me. If you don't, so at Solomon Grunge, hit the link in the bio for everybody watching. Come take a listen to the music. Hit me on YouTube. Hit me on TikTok. Hit me on IG. Hit me on email. Hit me on whatever.
Ooh,
I
my
got
man on
material.
TikTok.
I'm doing it.
Man,
I'm
I'm
trying-
trying.
Hey, I'm trying to get on TikTok. Man, my man's on TikTok. I like that. I like that.
Man, TikTok's the shit, man. It's addictive though. Be careful if you go.
Look, I got a post. I can't sit there and watch all that shit, but it's a great platform. It's a great platform.
Well, respect, man. Thank you all, brothers, for having me on here, man. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad we got to share some of the music. I'm
yeah.
glad we got to build and everything, man. So y'all do y'all thing, man. Y'all keep moving. Y'all need anything from me, man. And like I said, I got a whole squad coming with me, man. Anybody listening, watch out for the Mogul, watch out for Reese, LAZ, the whole 9 yards, Gestalt, DJ June. We doing it, man.
Hey, shout out.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Respect,
sir.
y'all.
All
Be
right.
peace,
All right,
man. Have a
sir.
good evening.
Appreciate you.
Peace,
bro.
y'all.
Peace.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.